Hello, everyone, and welcome to Padawan Unlimited, Star Wars Unlimited trading card game podcast YouTube channel, and just a variety of other things. I am your host, Gil, and today I am joined by someone who has returned from banishment. He's still playing Palp, which is Palp Yellow.
He's playing Palp Yellow.
The Emperor's pet, Corey.
And you can call me the Dream Ender.
The Dream Ender, Corey. And the soon-to-be Dream Ender. I don't know actually. Boba player, Rob. How you guys doing?
My dreams are being ended with today's spoilers. So I don't know. We'll see.
Oh yeah, we'll get into that. If this is the first time you're listening to the podcast, thank you for listening. We really appreciate that as always. I like how interactive the community has been. Because I never thought we were gonna open up a Discord. I was like, I'm not gonna do that stuff. No one wants to like participate with
another Discord.
Another Discord ever. No one wants to like meet us in person or talk to us. But apparently
he was wrong.
I was wrong. So thank you for your support. And if you're new, please stick around for all the good stuff that'll occur.
Join the Discord and join the conversation. Yeah,
join the
Discord. Got a lot of community. A lot of people in the community that are participating, like Gil said. So yeah, it's really cool to see.
Yeah, and
meet me. Like they take up the slack. So
yeah, no, I love it. There's always some good insights. So and if your friends aren't here listening, bring them in too. Yeah. I like people. What can I say? So no major logistics today, really. Yeah, we're not doing a giveaway today or anything like that. So I think we're over that hump.
Force throw suspension celebration.
No, everyone expected that.
We're giving away all of our force throw cards.
However, I will say that with sectors and regional qualifiers coming up, and for those who don't know what that is, those are competitive level events throughout the globe. The one in Bilbao, Spain, that is occurring. I am like 99% sure I am securing product from that event. Which means, when the time comes, there's definitely a couple of handoffs, obviously, because it's crossing countries and I'm not going to be there. But assuming I get the product in a reasonable time, I'll probably get it by Christmas. That's the plan. Especially if you're a Patreon supporter, thank you so much for that. You will, doing something special for you guys and gals. So, stick around for that. And then we have another thing brewing up, but we'll talk about that probably in the future. Rob talked about it last week a little bit. So listen to that episode.
Yes, that.
But okay, so let's go into we do segments. Let's go into the collection segment. Let's start off with you, Corey.
I missed a week, and I do want to share an unfortunate kind of a collection update that's a little unfortunate. I got in some packs just to open some packs, as we do, and all the Target packs I've been seeing and things like that. And so I got a couple packs, ripped them open, and both of the packs I got had no rare card slot. So there's no card in the rare slot. So I went from the 9 commons, the 3 uncommons, and then right into the 4. I'm like, what's going on? It's like, wait a second, that's weird. And I was like checking the package. I was like, yeah, definitely didn't have anything in there. And then I opened the second one, and it's like, same thing. It's like, what is going on here?
It's unfortunate. You didn't record those, did you?
I didn't. And that's the thing. I was like, oh, why didn't I video this?
Yeah, dude, that sucks. That sucks.
I mean, that's not as bad as getting a Carbonite and then not getting a prestige card.
Yeah.
That is worse for sure.
Has that happened to people?
That has happened. Yeah.
Are you serious?
So,
gosh darn.
But it is pretty unfortunate. The one thing I will say, though, is I did get a foil legacy run. So I got a legendary, but I didn't
the less
get
valued one.
Yes. As we mentioned on this podcast.
Oh, my God.
But yeah, that's my collection up. I don't know if you guys got any updates, but we did get some spoilers that came out.
Yeah.
So there was another legendary that got revealed, and so just want to shout that out real quick. And a couple leaders. Rob, did you have a leader or a card that you thought was pretty cool from these recent spoilers?
Well, cool is relative here. I'm very sad about it, but Hyperspace Disaster is going to be a thing. It makes me very sad. So for those of you who did not see, Hyperspace Disaster is a 7-cost event that destroys all space units.
Woohoo! Yay!
So,
a good event removal card for at 7 resources.
Boba,
I love
Boba
it.
in particular.
Behind that Boba data vault for a while, and now it's like, hold my beer here. And then
Yeah.
Among anything, I mean, like that
something
stops
there.
it stops a lot of space decks in their tracks. Like,
yeah, I
round
think
7,
Vader
right?
is still viable because Vader's so darn
It's
fast.
quicker, right?
Yeah, but like Boba in particular relies on hitting his curve around 6 and like kind of mid gaming and then steamrolling, and that's gonna just make
So Hyperspace Disaster is a 7-cost blue aspect.
Yeah,
Rare.
and exactly. It's rare and it's only single blue. So it's not even like it's limited to villainy. It's across all aspects.
It's such a well designed card. Shout out to FFG for doing something so amazing for the community.
Gil is very happy about this. In case you couldn't tell.
So it's a rare card, so it's accessible. It's single. It's single aspect, which is great. Right, and it's very
those single aspects. They become more valuable. I would say just because you can play them in any deck. So
Gil's just rubbing it in right now. That's what he's doing.
No, I mean it's also good for limited because it's like if you get blue, you're not stuck in the villainy. Or, it's a removal you're not stuck in one villainy or heroism aspect. Now, so I think it's gonna be worth a little bit. It's gonna be one of the more valuable rares. I think.
I think so as well. It's one that honestly I was surprised wasn't a legendary, particularly considering like. Something of equivalent power like Super Laser Blast or Nebula Ignition or the Invasion of Christophsis have all been legendary cards.
I think it's going to be like Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
No, so like just the fact that it's cheaper than Super Laser Blast. So I know it only targets a single arena, but it's cheaper than Super Laser Blast, but it does have a wide removal effect that also targets leaders. FYI.
That's fair. Like if you have a leader that's flipped into space, it's gone. So
yeah.
What about you, Gil? Did you have something that you wanted to shout out?
Well, I'm gonna say that at least before we go on to another card, I think that this removal card is gonna be a $5 card.
Oh, like, we're getting into the market here.
Of course, I'm always gonna talk about the market. You don't need to know about mechanics. This is the collection section. It's not a mechanics section. So I honestly
think I'm gonna go a little bit higher, Gil.
You think so? I mean, the hyperspace for sure. Yeah, it's gonna
but like think about Maul, right? Maul was a rare as well, and Maul was a staple of so many decks, and I think he settled around like.
Maul's a unit, though. Keep that in mind. It's not an event.
Again, he settled around like 10 to 15, if I remember correctly. Really? I my gut says this is going to be in that neighborhood, like maybe 10.
You think you're going like 10?
I don't see it.
Okay. Well, I mean, I compare it to me as like General's Blade, so that's why I'm splitting the difference a little bit. Because I agree with you, Rob. I think it's more like Maul's great. It's like, well, first of all, it's an iconic card, so like it's hard to like not like iconic unit, right? And I think just value for iconic stuff is always higher, generally speaking. I could see it reaching somewhere around there. Specifically, for me, it's mostly the hyperspaces. I think the hyperspaces are get the double digits.
Yeah. Well, if you're talking about hyperspace, there's going to be more value for sure. Yeah. I think you could see a $7 price range for that, but I don't see double like.
No, it's such a good. Okay, well, we'll see. I think that we got a range. Well. It's a rare. It's not a legendary. Fair.
Yeah, but I mean that'd be cool. The thing I will give it like. Because it is a single aspect, I think that does bump the value up as well. Yep. We've seen it with Anakin, right? So it's like that. I was surprised. Anakin was like somewhere around $40 this past weekend, so I was like, I'm shocked by that. So you could see this go up. And and with Super Laser Blast being rotated out, this could see a bump as well.
Yeah, it's going to be one of the ones that I think it's going to become a staple, right? Particularly with Super Laser Blast rotating out. But there's been some other stuff before we completely spend the entire segment talking about Hyperspace Disaster of my life.
Nah, funny. Yep. I think for me, okay. So going to the other cards, you're seeing the power spikes. With this new set in rotation, which is great. I mean, like as sets rotate out, new sets of cards get a little bit more powerful. Maybe they do more action cheating, which I hope they don't. That's too powerful of a thing, but that's mechanics. I like the Screeching TIE Fighter. Like so,
Oh,
set
God, that
one,
thing.
set one has a TIE LN fighter. It's a common card, I think. It's like a one
common.
cost 2/1, like flat, like that's it, right? This one, the Screeching TIE Fighter, it's a cunning villainy, so
Yellow.
it's different.
Yeah.
Not just like a villainy card, which is black, the black color. It's a one cost 2/1, still has Imperial traits. It's a fighter, it's a vehicle, but has an on attack that is just dope. And that is, it's an on attack ability. You may choose a ground unit. If you do, it loses its keyword. So and it's an uncommon. So
Keyword. So if it has multiples, you only pick one, I think, right?
It loses its keywords.
It loses its keywords.
Oh, it's
like
keywords.
all of them. Yeah,
Keywords.
that's what I'm saying. Like this card is like good because like you think about Restore, Sentinel, any of that stuff, and you said ground side. I mean, it's just useful, right? And it's uncommon, right? Like it's
just one cost.
That's a one cost, and it's not unique. So you can have two of these on the field at the start of the turn. Like if you could just morph to get both of them.
Multiple units on the ground on there.
This card is going to be like a uncommon like $3 card, like minimum. Like
it's going to be in every. It's going to be in every.
It's going to be in every deck. The hyperspace foil is going to be like $12. I'm telling you right now, it's just like just a useful card.
This is going to be like Overwhelming Barrage in some ways, where like Overwhelming Barrage is worth more than like a good chunk of rares and legendaries. It's like a $10 card. The hyperspace.
Yeah. So anyway, that got me super excited.
I'm loving it
unit
as a
card.
cunning.
As
a cunning player right now.
And Tarkin dropped today too, and he looks really interesting. He's a rare 2/6 that when you play him, you just take a vehicle.
Yeah.
Any vehicle, no cost, no, not non-leader. Non-leader is the only restriction. So you're just like, cool. I love that Devastator across the board for me. I'm going to drop Tarkin and steal him. Like there's a lot of. I mean, obviously there's counterplay to this. He's only a 2/6. He's a 6 cost. There's a chance to try and kill him, and then they get the unit back if he leaves play. But like this could be like a game ender. And it's like choose sides or not choose sides.
Commandeer.
Change of heart.
Yeah, change your heart. Change your heart. But you also get a 2/6 body with it.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Good rare.
Some of these cunning cards have been really cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's a real big boon to Palp Yellow as well, because like it's a change of heart. You get a body. You can attack with it if you took it while it's untapped, and then you can kill him with.
Before we get into too much mechanics in the collection segment.
Fair.
Right.
I'm just saying why he's interesting.
I think he's super interesting for sure. I think that as a card, he's probably also going to be like at least a $4 card kind of thing.
And
it's
rare.
Yeah. So we're just you're building the case as to why he's going to be valuable, which I think is sweet.
Yeah.
I think the leaders themselves, the showcases,
Mon Mothma, baby.
Showcases prices have been pretty down in general, which is fine. I mean, there's still showcases that are breaking like $100, $150-ish
or 200. Like Kylo, I think is still over 200.
Yeah,
so.
There's still the most kissable lips showcase. Kylo Ren is a very valuable card.
Pay that premium.
Yeah, but I think so Rob, you mentioned Mon Mothma. You seem pretty high on her. I'm gonna say, so do you think her showcase is gonna be worth a lot? Yes or no? And then if so, and why? So let's talk about let's talk about that.
Yeah. So I do think she's gonna end up being worth. She's gonna be on the higher end of some of these. Her abilities. Also, first of all, she's a fairly iconic figure, both from the original trilogy and then the fact that she's a main character in Andor is probably helping that fact. Yeah. But beyond that, I think she is just also very playable. And we've talked about this in the past where like the playability of cards more than anything else is what's going to determine like the value on them. And particularly on the showcases, is the leader playable? If the leader's playable, then you're going to get that $150 floor minimum kind of. If they're not, then you might get them for like $50 to $100. Depending on how popular the character is. But I think in this case, her ability, while initially it kind of sounds like it's very similar to like other one other ability, which was Hera, where she allows you to ignore aspects, but she allows you to ignore aspect penalties on official cards. Now, particularly with the set, we are getting an absolute metric ton of officials in this set.
Yeah.
But beyond
non-black
that,
officials.
it's not, non-villainous, to be fair. But beyond that, we've already had so many officials in the previous sets that I think the value in this card, whereas Harris specified specters, and there really just weren't that many specters. Here, you have so many cards that are applicable to this. So you can pick, she's green. You can pick an aspect that you want, like, powerful events from. And then you can throw every official that you want that's non-villainous into this deck and start to build it out. So they recently spoiled Senator Chuchi, who gives restore to another unit when she attacks and she has restore 1. Gives restore 2, for example. There's so many good officials. It even goes back to like regional governor in set 1.
So I guess I'll go switch off the court for this one then. So knowing this information, do you agree with him? Like, do you think this is gonna be good? And then will that equate into value for collecting the showcase if it does pop up?
We talked about this before, and echoing a lot of what Rob said, playability, but then also the character's popularity, right? That's going to be another factor, as well as, does the card look good, right? Is this card
yes,
it's good. Darth Revan, nobody cared about his playability at all, and he was higher. He's close to $200 at some. I think he was worth more than $200 at some point.
Yeah, he definitely was.
Just because of the character is so cool, and the showcase looks awesome, right? So I just don't think these leaders in general, in my opinion, the showcases are going to be as valuable as past showcases, just because they're all officials. They're all politics. It's all there's no action sequences or cool moments, I think, that are going to look amazing in these showcases.
Do we think so? For Mon Mothma, before we move on to a different showcase I have in mind, I'm not going through all potential showcase. We haven't seen any showcase art, to be clear.
Yeah.
So showcase, and if it's
could
the first time listening, a showcase is a variant art of a leader. It's like the ratio is very low to get it. So it's usually a special card. We get a special treatment. It's double sided, in terms of showcase, variant art. Is she gonna Mon Mothma over under $100?
Over.
Ooh, that's right where I was gonna be at. I think initially it'll be over, and then it's gonna fall under.
Okay, where do you think it's gonna settle? Still over 100, Rob?
80.
Yeah, I'm still over 100.
Over 80.
Because I think she's gonna be a leader that gets played, and in particular post rotation, I think she's also going to be valuable, because I think as you start to get some of these older leaders that are more popular right now rotating out, she's going to be one that's going to get a look when she initially comes out, and I think she's going to get a second look after the rotation happens.
Okay. I think she's going to break 100. And the only reason I say that, so not to be contrarian to you guys, obviously, but just different on purpose. However, Nala Se is a $95 showcase card. Nala Se has a very similar ability. It's like any clone, no aspects, right? Blah, 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 blah. $95 right now. So she is a more iconic character. She's in a big TV show. I'm not going to speak to if she's useful or not, just because who am I? You know what I mean? If I win a PQ or something, I'll give you an opinion. But a meaningful opinion.
Hasn't stopped us yet, Gil.
Yeah, I know, right? So I think she's going to be like a $120 to $140 showcase card. And I think that's where it's going to settle. I think she actually would go higher than that. And speaking of higher,
I'm curious what the art will be. So.
I am curious. I wonder if it's I'm curious to see what the art is. If they do that right, she's definitely going to break 120 to 150 range, 140 range. That's my opinion. But let's go on to one last card before we move on to the meta section. C-3PO. Our boy C-3PO is going to be a leader this set.
Yeah,
he is a deploy on 4 resources. It's he has an ability that costs 1. It's if you control an exhausted unit, exhaust a unit, not a friendly unit, just whatever. If you control an exhausted unit, just exhaust another unit, whatever that might be. Great, and he comes out as a 1/6. He's a rebel droid, and he has an on attack ability. if you control another exhausted unit, you may exhaust the unit. So the same thing, but for free if he attacks. And the art's really good. In my opinion, I think the art is pretty good for
for this
already
for the normal
the normal thing. It's him in the Death Star, like, oh, he's like looking at the he's like looking like in surprise, like he got caught, which he kind of did in the movies. So over under. Okay, all right. Do we think this card is going to be a valuable showcase? If so, what do you think is the price is going to be?
I do think this one will be more valuable because of the character, not necessarily for the power. But I do think the power is actually pretty useful.
I was gonna say the power is pretty freaking good, man.
Yeah, no, like I said, I think at Cal Kestis, I love the power. Tempo and is really strong, and it doesn't have restrictions on what that unit is. So that's huge. Yeah, if the art's good and we know the character's good, I definitely think this is over 100. Easy.
Over 100. Okay,
that's definitely an easy.
How about you, Rob?
Easy call.
Well, I'll be spicy here. I'm gonna say it's go over 200.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. So hear me out, because here's the other one. Watch Stonks on Babu Frick.
Babu Frick's a good card.
Given droids all them bonuses, like it's I think you're gonna get an interesting mix of like droid decks. I think is gonna start to happen. Because and not just on heroic side, although in this case we're talking heroic, it's also happening on villainous side. But I do think that this ability is actually pretty impactful. I think as a leader, 4 flip 1/6, the attack isn't great, but that's a pretty big butt. And you can start to like Voltron him up, and then you're also exhausting stuff. And for a 1 cost to exhaust, and all you need to have it happen is you have an exhausted unit. That's a pretty low bar to hit to basically just get an exhaust for. There is a cost, but an exhaust for a relatively low cost.
Yeah, so you're going over 200.
I think it's gonna go over 200.
Cool.
Particularly if it looks good. If it looks good.
Dude,
no question.
If it's him as the king of Ewoks, like the god of Ewoks, that showcase is gonna be like $1,000. I mean, I'm being facetious, but like it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be an expensive showcase. If it's like this a little bit, where it's like the Death Star, I could see the case for 200 as well. I don't think it'll break 300 or anything like that.
No. I don't think any of the new showcases will, just because of the proliferation of them. Like, there's just more of them.
I think the 200, 220 range is going to be reasonable for a C-3PO showcase. I mean, like Akbar, no one knew what to do with him. Yeah. He has an exhaust ability-ish, right? Comes out late, but he comes out at 4. C-3PO comes out at 4. I'm optimistic, and he's useful. He's already seems useful to everybody. Like everyone, kind of like Cal Kestis, $60 showcase, $70 showcase, because he's not really useful and he'll die real fast. Where this guy is like a 1/6 and a rebel. Come on, like good.
There's a lot to love there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Go ahead, Corey.
Good. I was just gonna say, like, I guess I'm the skeptical one on all these prices. I'm the lowest on everything. I'm always the optimist. I don't see 200, but maybe 150 there.
Yeah, I think there's just too many fans. I think with C-3PO, he's just too iconic a leader, and his ability's kind of good.
Akbar is iconic. You just mentioned Akbar. He's an iconic character.
But Akbar
but not in the same way.
But see, like here's Akbar died on the bridge after, like, unceremoniously in the new series, and like C-3PO is still alive. So like let's think about the fan service they decided to give one of the greatest admirals in the history of the Republic, Admiral Akbar. How he just like was like,
well, where's Pilot Luke landed?
I don't know, but that's zombie Luke.
The zombie, yeah. Well, exactly like that.
That's what I'm saying. Just because it's an iconic character, also you can't. If it doesn't look good, people are
So caveat: if it looks bad, $20.
Yeah.
All right.
And again, but again, there it's also playability. Just to not to go into like meta stuff again, but Luke is not. He's playable-ish, but not very. So
yeah, like if Luke came out at 4, you better believe that dude would be like in every deck.
Even if he came out at 5, he comes out at 6.
Yeah, it's pretty late. Okay, so let's move on to Amida. Rob, what do you got for us?
What do we got? a last hurrah for Force Throw. That's what we got.
Wait,
so
what
this-
happened in Force Throw? Nah, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
You want to talk about it some more? We can talk about it some more. Yeah, in case you guys didn't know or you're sleeping under a rock or something like that, Force Throw was banned. This was the last weekend for competitive play where Force Throw was allowed, and we had unsurprisingly a lot of Han, a lot of Anakin Blue Force, a lot of things that were using Force Throw in their last opportunity to do it. There was also a Yoda, a Talzin Red, just a lot of things, and there were a lot of PQs this weekend. On Saturday, the majority of them were in the U.S., and then on Sunday, the majority of them were overseas. And in fact, on Saturday, we had one somewhat locally in Mawa. But what was interesting to me is, or not unsurprising, is that we were seeing people playing the power deck for the last time that they could, and it was taking a lot of things. And it wasn't just also winning, but there were a lot of top eights with it. So I think everyone wanted to get their last attempts with this in before the meta really starts to shift. I do want to give a quick call out though, because there was one that I saw that was really interesting to me that won this weekend, which was Piet Red. And the reason I'm bringing this one up is because it actually plays I looked at the build, and it's very, very similar to the Boba build, specifically that I run, which is the droid heavy build. So you're losing out on the ping access from Boba, but you are dropping all those capital ships real freaking early. And he also runs droid control or droid command ship. I forget what the heck I think that's what it's called. It's the red 7 cost that gives all droids raid 2.
Okay.
and the deck is entirely droids. Like there's almost nothing that's not a droid in there. So it's actually really, really interesting. It was one that I may want to kind of take a look at. Although with Hyperspace Disaster coming, I don't know how I feel about these very space heavy decks at this point, with the exception of maybe Vader. But there are some contenders that are starting to show up that we've kind of been talking about. Sorry, excuse me. We've kind of been talking about, and maybe start to come into the meta a little bit more after we see the Force Throw go away this week. Specifically, Cad Tarkentown took it looks like 4 or 5 this weekend. Sabine is always there. There was a Sabine Yellow actually at the Mawa one that looked really interesting as well. And then Garsax and ECL took one, but Poe Data Vault as well, and Iden Data Vault. So we're starting to see some of those decks that might have been a little bit more marginal start to get played.
Poe Data Vault won a showdown, by the way.
It was a showdown.
Yeah. Sorry, just yeah.
No,
I mean,
no, you're right. It was
not that he's bad. It's just that it was a showdown. Which
but he was also in a couple other tops.
We've had a planetary qualifier where there was 8 people and Kazuda Red won. So I think Poe Data. I think that's a better sample size with Poe Data Vault. It's still a good deck. Poe has won other things. So it's fair.
But the other one, I'm sure Corey is very happy about is Palpatine Yellow. He's showing up.
Yeah, so showed up before.
He showed up before, and he took at least one, and I thought he took maybe 2 this weekend, or maybe it was in the same.
There's no planetary qualifiers that he won recently. Not this weekend.
The 20th? On the 20th.
The one on the 20th. Yeah, there's one in Utah.
We did win.
And Palp Yellow.
Okay.
Yeah.
And 4.
Yep. But he was also.
I was thinking that was Spain, but that's not Spain. It's not.
Yeah. There were also some other ones where he was showing up in the top 4, top 8. So it's again. I think we're going to start to see the rise of some of these. What would have been considered marginal decks now kind of start to come back into it. Cad Tarkentown I think is going to start to turn into the big boogeyman here, because look, it's not whether you're running the weenie version or whether you're running the more traditional version, it's not particularly space heavy. It wasn't particularly force reliant at this point. So the things like Quinlan Tarkentown did, and some of these other kind of quicker, tempo type decks did, like Kylo Tarkentown, now with the loss of force throw, not to say that they're bad decks now, but you've got something that
It's
didn't rely on that at all, and it's
uh,
and it's still reliable.
you know,
It is still a reliable
I will
deck.
say that about Cat Tarkingtown is not as technical as a deck as like Quinlan Tarkingtown.
Correct.
It's like much easier to play. The cards are actually more accessible in my opinion because there's a lot of like easy one drops to pick up and stuff like that. Cards like you could just source. Like I don't think there's a lot of like legendaries in that deck at all. You know what I mean? Like it could be
Just
like
Pad himself.
it could be like it's like a budget deck that like just does really well, right?
Mhm.
And the just play units after a basic line is like play a unit after an opponent to ping to do damage and then find a way to defeat that thing right away and then just have a board presence, keep building your board and win by like turn 7, 5, 6, 7,
Yeah.
5, 6, 7. It's like
Yeah, he's pretty strong. I will say though, you mentioned there's two versions of CAD. One is a
Yes.
weenie CAD. What does that mean for people that don't know?
So weenie decks in general are decks that rely on very, very small units, but a proliferation of them. I think I said that right. God, pronunciation
okay.
hard. Proliferation. So in other words, you're doing a lot of like more often than not, weenie decks, quote unquote, usually don't have things in the deck that cost more than about 4, at least in Star Wars Unlimited. Meaning you're going to have a lot of 1-drops, a lot of 2-drops, a lot of 3-drops, and your top end is like a couple of 4-drops that if you get to, great, because most of the time you want to drop multiple units a turn. What happens is you're creating a board that's so wide that there's only so many things that your opponent can handle. Whether they're trading out or whether they're, even if they're dropping sentinels, like early sentinels, you might throw 2 things into it as a weenie deck, get rid of it, and you still have 3 other things to attack with. It's about creating a very, very wide board.
Yeah, I think in this new meta, that blue-green villainy combination is gonna start like really rising. I mean, you already saw it. For the one that was really interesting was the Gar ECL. That one, that was
I think
that was in France. The ECL is just devastating. So one of the things that competitively speaking that like you'll hear a lot, maybe not people express it like as vocally, but you hear a lot. They'll say I 2-for-1, or like it was a favorable trade, and a favorable trade is pretty much always a 2-for-1. And what that means in this one is that like with ECL specifically, and the new Darth Vader, you're almost always 2-1ing, 3-1ing, whatever, and like that is such a devastating trade for the opponent. Because then you have a unit on deck, and then you clear the board essentially, and then you could still flip your leader at the same time at 6, and now there's these 2 very powerful units, right? That are like you can't really deal with until turn, like even if you wait till turn 7 or 8, you can only deal with one of them, and there's still gonna be another one, and you're always ahead. Like you're always gonna be ahead after that. And I think that like that blue green villainy with that with this specific combination, and then the Iden set 1, Kira with the with Data Vault, like all of these decks are just gonna start coming back.
With the like right now, I think Boba Data Vault is still very strong, but with the pending hyperspace disaster, I think the pure space decks are going to take a little bit of a hit.
Well, I think we don't have to worry about that right now because we still have to do a sector and a regional qualifier, right? And no, I'm not saying that it's not important. I'm just saying that like, which
it's
right
only
now,
for like another month.
The immediate factor of having these upcoming tournaments, you're not going to have to worry about hyperspace disaster.
Correct.
Right.
But where I'm going with this is like we have approximately a month, a little bit over, 6 weeks, right? Yeah, about 6 weeks. Because it's middle of November.
Well, I would consider 2 months because the new competitive season next series doesn't really start until like the month after release, like 3 weeks after release. So like you actually have a lot of time before, like you might do it. I mean, if someone does a sword showdown within the first 3 weeks of a set, that's wild to me.
It's funny
Unless
though. I'm
it's the
seeing them.
prior set.
Yeah.
It could
Yeah,
be the prior set though. Sometimes they don't get those going until after a new set comes out.
that's true.
But I will say, like to your point, go like the Vader interaction there, because you don't even need ECL. Like once you have timely, and once you hit 8, you know your opponent could do it at any time. Like that's the thing when
Yep.
you are playing a blue green villain deck. It's like, well, timely.
6, 7, 8. Any of those turns, you could
Yep,
just get
it's
Vader.
you have to play around it. So it's definitely going to be a factor for sure.
Yep, that's yeah.
I think Kira took second in Mawa too. So.
Did you really? Wow. Did you, aside from that was my thing. What do you guys think where do you think the meta is going to be, particularly for the first sector qualifier in Seattle, Portland. I keep forgetting. You know why? It's because I'm not going. That's why I'm like
That's the problem.
Hey, he didn't say it was in Denver this time, so you know.
Yeah, I'm getting closer. So it's in Portland.
Yep, so-
what else? Last week we were told that
sure.
a Boston network member is going to take it, which is probably good odds. I'll say it's a very strong.
I do think. I mean, your lovely lady Sabine is definitely going to be on the rise, just because of how it's something people have been playing this whole time. It's easy to fall back into if you tried other things. You can just go right back into it and not make too many mistakes. So I do think that that'll be something that's going to be seen a little bit more as a deck, either yellow or green. I do think green is better.
Yeah.
Chewbacca's is so good.
I was gonna say I'm gonna stick with what I was saying last week. In all honesty, I think you're gonna see Boba Data Vault take some more. But I think the other thing is that and we did see it also. I should point out this week, Han 1 is coming back, and Han 1 Green specifically, I think is going to be another one that we will have to kind of take a look at and deal with.
People are really on that.
I think, like, where was Han 1 Green in Jump to Lightspeed when people weren't really caring about Force Throw?
He was there for a second with the like all the Falcons forever.
Yeah.
And I think
Han 1 Green made it pretty far in a lot of major tournaments, if not winning some of them, during the Jump to Lightspeed set. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think the problem with
I just don't remember seeing them that much. I think maybe it was just the new shinies that came out that people were happy about.
Yeah,
trying out.
I think what stymied Han 1 Green, I think, was like people at the same time started experimenting with like Ray Data Vault.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And like that deck, for example, you put Entrench, or any blue deck, you put an Entrench on a Han 1 Green like deck on their Falcon. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, well, I mean, I remember Rob, you played it initially. Like that was your first thing, right? Was Han?
Yeah,
it was one of them.
Yeah. Go wide against it, and
because like you do the whole resupply thing in the beginning, and then
resupply turn just nuts.
Yeah.
So I remember that. And then it just died off. I was like, oh, people were not winning with it. So that's what I thought. In any case.
Yeah. I think
Kylo, because you were saying blue green villain, I think Kylo Data Vault is going to rise up a little bit too, because people like Kylo. Yeah. And like you can just once you get to him, and just like, oh, he's still tough to deal with, and like craving power, legal authority, those are just killers. Because again, talking about 2-for-1ing or 3-for-1ing, flipping board state. It's crazy.
Yeah, I do think there is I know Force Throw is a big component of the Kylo Tarkin Town deck, but there is still there's still so much tempo. There's still so much tempo in that deck, particularly with Migs. I'm curious to see how it continues to play. Because there is, yes, you don't have Force Throw, but you do have a lot of other things. In particular, in that one, you still have at least Force Lightning for removal. So, like I said, it's not perfect anymore. In the same way, like you can't just like drop we were talking with Tetra about it last week. You can't just one drop Witch and then then use a Force Throw immediately after that on turn 1. But there's a lot of other lines in there that might still be viable. I think it takes. I definitely do think it takes a hit. I'm not saying it's as strong as it was, but I think there's still viability there.
Yeah. Okay. So let's speaking about future viability, and we talked about what the future might be. Let's talk about the next let's go on to the next segment, the main segment today, which is like planning for the future, right? We had a listener give us a suggestion to talk about like planning for next sets. Is it worth practicing with them right now, like the new cards as they come in, right? And is it just like a waste of time? For example, I thought that was a great suggestion. So let's talk about that. Next week we'll talk about something interesting. We're going to talk about budget decks. But this week we'll talk about just planning for the future. And I mean, I'll say just before I'll kick us off. I think just in general, it's a good idea. I mean, like there's a reason why, aside from just the legalities of it all, like why playtesters have their NDAs and aren't allowed to share, because like they're testing cards, which means you understand how you have a leg up on understanding interactions, deck building. Like, just why would you not? If you had access to all the answers beforehand, why would you not use those answers? And so that's my brief thing. But like, let's talk about it a little bit deeper. This last segment was made us. So Corey, we'll start off with you. What do you think about that?
No, I absolutely agree. Like if you have the opportunities to start deck building or thinking about what you want to do with certain cards and their interactions as they come out, there's no reason for you not to be doing that. And what I think is fun to do, it's fun too, right? Because what you can do is you start getting the spoilers, and there's a great resource out there, SuDB, that he's constantly getting those cards up there. Like he's almost like super fast. Like it's like, I just heard about this card and it's already on SuDB. So it's very impressive. And you can just like search by the different sets if you want. You can search by different aspects. There's a lot of ways to do it, but there's a lot of cool things you can see to just start thinking about, oh, this card came out, like we talked about in collection in the past few weeks, and what these cards can do, and like how excited Rob was for Topple Summit, and then how disappointed he was for Hyperspace Disaster. So it's like you can see how these are going to impact your prior decks and then decks you like. And then, you might find an interaction that just like, oh, wait, this could work in this other thing that I was brewing like 2 years ago or whatever, or 2 months ago. I won't say 2 years. And that just might unlock something that was just not working before.
Yep. Yeah, I tend to agree as well. I mean, look, not to echo what everyone else is saying, but more information is more better. Like, really, at the end of the day, there's a reason why like competitive teams, want to have at least one playtester within their group so that they can get that information early, so that they can start to put
Illegal.
that together.
Not supposed to do that. But I mean,
okay, we all know it happens.
Do we? Do we?
Okay.
I mean,
we don't.
Do we?
We don't
like,
officially. We don't officially.
I mean, but so let's address this real quick. They're not supposed to do that. If they do, right, you're held to an NDA, right, a non-disclosure agreement. You're supposed to sign a document that does that. Now, does sometimes maybe it slips, but you're not supposed to share that information. They're actually keep.
We saw what happened last time.
Well, last time there was a playtester who just decided to freaking let it go, apparently. But see, this is an issue. It's toxic because, and I have to take this very seriously, if you were given the opportunity to be a playtester or early access to the cards or whatever, don't ruin, like, it ruins it for the rest of us. That when things are taken advantage of in that sense, like you have early access to the cards or whatever, you're not supposed to share that information. And I think it happens like pretty much every card game. We got to do a better job of like not doing it with this one. And I think this made it harder. Like if Padawan Unlimited wants to get spoilers cards to be able to reveal to all of you, let's say we want to do that, because certain bad actors in the past don't hold to the NDAs or the documents or whatever that are in place. It makes it harder for people like us who are trying to do the honest thing to be able to get that, to be able to provide the information for you all. Yeah. Not obviously. Yeah. I'm not berating anyone who's listening to us. I'm just like, I just want to like address this, not elephant
in the
room.
Like the elephant in the room.
This thing in the room, because like it's not supposed to happen. unless you have physical proof, I don't want to ever like talk about it in that sense, because it's just speculation. And if I do hope though that if people are doing that, they get caught and they are punished for it, because that should not be happening.
And to be clear, Gil, I'm not endorsing it. I'm not saying this. I'm just saying that as you said, in other card games, it definitely happens.
Yeah.
And as you said, we've had experiences within this card game where it has happened. So it like I said, at the end of the day, starting with let's just talk about it in terms of with like the spoilers, right? So getting the spoilers and starting to test based off of some of the things that you're starting to see and looking like, okay, you're going to start to brew some of these new decks. I think it's good. Now, again, no matter what, the more reps you get in with whatever, if you're like, man, I see a line and I want to test this out. I want to brew it. And we're going to start testing that through whatever through Carabast or an online resource, right? Let's see if this has legs. I mean, we did that with I think we did that at the beginning of Legends of the Force when we saw that line potentially with the double yellow Zuckuss unit. And it's like, can we take this to the next level? That was still very early in the set. We were trying to say like, okay, is there actually a line here? And you test out and you play it out. And we ultimately found that no, it didn't work. But in our try hard casual estimation, but there are lines for that, and I think all of that is good.
Plus,
good stuff.
If you like physical cards, you print them all out. You'll have a playset of every legendary in paper. That's...
and people do that all the time too. Like I remember when like set 1 cards were really hard to get. Spark cards, we had to print out proxies for it. So
those were the
I
days.
will say also now with rotation, seeing these cards coming out and seeing what they're capable of doing and how they can potentially be replacements for cards that are going out is important too, and to see what's still viable. Like, is this deck still going to work without overwhelming barrage or whatever card you want to say? That's going to be important.
Oh, I can't wait till that card rotates out. I'm going to plan for that future so hard.
What about Waylay though? Are you excited about Waylay rotating out?
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Like, that's fine. That's not like super overpowered card, and there's that's okay. No, it's definitely not overpowered. Like, it's
a color defining card.
Yeah, color defining, but I don't think it's overpowered. It does one thing well versus like Overwhelming Barrage, which boosts a unit.
It does one thing well.
It does multiple things well. It
blows things up. That's what it does.
Well, it also
that's
the unit too.
Yeah, it also boosts.
Boosts the unit, defeats something, and you still get to play. You still get to play with the unit. You still get to attack with the unit have, and which means that can survive. Like, you can like overwhelm. You could kill. You could defeat something and still survive, or whatever you want to do. That's a crazy card. Ruthless Raider, also another thing that can't wait to be rotated out, because that card is so busted.
So what you're saying is you just don't want to see Boba Data Vault anymore?
I just think Villainy got a lot of broken cards. Like, it's always like, so Triple Dark Raid, broken. Like, they banned so broken they banned it. DJ, I mean, is he heroism? I forget.
No, he's neutral.
Yeah, he's just neutral.
Yeah.
See, it's nothing, right? They didn't ban Tech. What else did they ban? Force Throw, which is single color. It's either single color or Villainy.
Or a Fett.
Yeah, or Villainy. It's not any heroism.
No, not even Villainy, just a Fett.
Just a Fett. So I guess moral of the story in the future, always plan that the Boba Fett card you're playing is going to get banned.
Unless he's heroic.
Then you're good.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so no, I think if you have the time, it's great. Especially if you're kind of bored of the current cards, like, do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no reason not to. I know we have people locally who like print out cards in color, bold, that do that as well. Why not? I think it's great to get a look up.
Yeah. Well, and I think you also hit on something that's kind of important there, Gil, is that there's always the end of set doldrums, right? Like, you've been playing this set for 3 months, 4 months, whatever it is, and you're just like, I can't look at these cards anymore. I want something fresh. And that's what's kind of cool about. That's why spoiler season I think gets us all kind of hyped up, because it's like it's a way to reinvigorate yourself on the game as well.
Yeah, that's fair. Get hype for that, or
Get hype.
hyperspaced, so you're not defeated. It's not a disaster at the end.
A hyperspace disaster.
Hammers.
Oh gosh. I last couple thoughts on this as well. Also, if you're trying to determine value, right, you could actually start, because some cards on its surface feel valuable, like they seem valuable, but like when you actually play it in practice, they're not that good. Like that just happens with tons of cards. So if you're also trying to predict what cards are going to be worth it, so going back to our collection of it all, like we think Hyperspace Disaster, for example, is going to be a valuable card. But will it be? I don't know. So, when you play it and you feel like, wow, this is really good all the time, like, it's going to be valuable. So save them or sell your hyperspaces right away to make some money off it. That's, there's different ways to make it worth your time. Essentially what I'm saying is there's different ways to make it worth your time to plan ahead with the new sets. And I think, what about you guys? Any final words on that?
Yeah, no, that's absolutely what I was gonna kind of go towards, is that just because it's not out yet doesn't mean it's not worth investing time and energy into, to learn about and to get excited for. Because if you're going into this new set blind and you're not sure what these cards do, or haven't heard of anything before, you're going to be behind most of the people there at these pre-releases or events, because most of them are going to be doing that. Most of these players are excited for these cards and going to be looking into them. So to put yourself at a disadvantage by ignoring all these new cards and the things there is disadvantage to just yourself in general.
Yeah, and I think the way that I'll kind of frame it is, I'll echo what Corey is saying, but also what I've come to realize, and so this has come through playing other TCGs recently as well, is that really at the end of the day, I do think that Star Wars Unlimited is probably one of the best competitive card games out there. Now, what that means is that you're going to have a lot of players who are going to be pushing that competitive edge. It doesn't mean that you can't play casually. It doesn't mean that Twin Suns is completely garbage, although I may think that, but that's just my personal opinion.
Fighting words. Oh god, man. Fighting words.
Throw it in at the end here.
Listeners out there, please.
Look, I'm joking. But in seriousness, like, you're gonna have a slight bent towards competitive players. So to your point, Corey, like, if you're not giving yourself those competitive advantages, and what I mean, it's not really advantages, but if you're not putting yourself through the ringer and testing those things, then you are going to walk in disadvantage. It's not to say that you're not going to enjoy yourself when you're doing that, but like know your audience to some extent.
Yeah.
Cool. I do want to just shout out to Trogbard I played him over the weekend, and I didn't even realize he was a listener. So until the end there, and just want to say hi and great games, brother.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love seeing people out in the wild. Not like the woods or anything like that. That's kind of creepy. But just in general, out there. And I did see we have that pup sighting. There was our Padawan Unlimited sleeve on PQ. So I want to shout out to also Rob Z. Thanks for repping us, bro. Appreciate you. It's also nice to know that, like, when we give stuff out, like, people actually use it. They're not like throwing it away. It's like, thank you. Let's put some time into the design. Put some money to put it on a sleeve to give it to people, and so I'm just be happy that people are like using it. So, and he was using it as force token. Apparently, he would just flip it like as a force, which is pretty cool. Yeah. So, with that, thank you guys, Rob, Corey. I appreciate you as always. Everyone else listening out there, thank you for listening. Appreciate you. Please remember to like, subscribe, tell some friends. We're trying to get to 500 subs on YouTube.
We're getting close.
We're doing it organically. I don't really advertise in like other Discords. I actually don't spend money on advertising in that sense as well. So really helps. And if this is your first time listening, you should know that at 500 subs, we are going to raffle away 2024 convention exclusive pack, which has the villainy force units. It is still in its original wrapper. You're not gonna have to pay for shipping. All you have to do is listen and enter. So like especially all you OG people, yeah, like who've been around us for a long time, you know what bonuses you've gotten over the past year or so. So like chances are pretty high. But anyway, listen, like, subscribe, tell your friends, and until next time, everyone, may the force be with you.